Continuing with the same subject, the Renaissance Property Group has a redevelopment proposal for our neighborhood. Do you support or oppose this, and why?
I want to learn all the aspects of it. I like to look at every single plan on its face value. What is this plan's proposal? Okay? And that starts at the very beginning. Concepts, it starts at the original neighborhood meetings. What are their concerns, and how does this play into the plan? Does it really take in their considerations? And that is how I would like to approach all of the potential developments that we have, is that each one is an individual project. But it should fall within what our various plans are. And I think that to address, one of the concerns Brenda raises was, well, we should keep all of our density along East Washington and watch out for it filling over into the neighborhoods. They're rewriting the zoning code right now, which is going to be, it's a huge step the city's taking. And I think it's going to be very important, and they've identified new classifications of zoning to keep the scale appropriate for the neighborhoods. They're taking a neighborhood perspective on it. And so particularly with this project, like I said, I'm brutally honest, and I have not researched this. I do practice law. And in that practice, I do a lot of real estate and business transactions on top of a myriad of other things, divorce, criminal law, etc. But in that time, I've seen a lot of different projects happen.
What I liked about the original project was the prospect of bringing homeowners to the area within about 3 to 4 to 5 years. Now under Section 42, we can't do that for about 15 years. So until 2025, what we're going to have is, in essence, 2 very large apartment buildings. And those have to be very well managed. And so what Mr. Maddie has failed to satisfy my mind on when it comes to this new project is, first of all, are we going to be able to manage that satisfactorily and in a way that's beneficial to the entire neighborhood? And 2, and this is a problem that I've had actually with the project the entire time, how much family-oriented development are we looking at? In the most recent plan, we're looking at something like 12 to 15% of the units, perhaps for 2 to 3 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms. What we need is family-oriented home ownership development. Now at this point I say leaning no, but he could satisfy my mind to that end, and I think that there's still the possibility of some good negotiation and some give and take here, that we could make some ground.
I've been listening very carefully. If I had to choose, I would be against the project at this point. But I think that there's still hope that something may get worked out. The project, one of the reasons why Sherman doesn't know about the project is it changes nearly daily. And most recently it is 3 apartment buildings. They've reduced the density, but they still would be tearing down 10 homes. It would have quite a bit of underground parking, mostly 1-bedrooms and efficiencies. There have been some major improvements to the project in that the facade is definitely much better. It actually looks like 3 sets of row houses. And in the back of the apartment building, it actually looks like houses as well. So there's been some major improvements. I do think that as well that the Section 42 is a plus for the project. They're able to do a lot of things like put in a gym, a community room, do a lot of green building techniques. They were able to reduce the number of units that they need to create, but still, I'm not sure they've quite gotten there yet. So if the vote were today, I probably would vote against the project, but I think that there's still some room for it to get to the point where it might be approved. A couple things, the demolition of the homes breaks my heart. I know that they were a landlord that did not take great care of their properties before they were purchased by Michael Maddie. But I do feel that there is some historic value to them, and I feel like they probably shouldn't be torn down. I am extremely concerned about the neighborhood plan. This doesn't fit within the neighborhood plan right now, and we are either going to have to modify our neighborhood plan or make an exception and be very clear about why we're making that exception. And there are several other issues.
Because if you've been reading the Neighborhood Association newsletter, if you've been at the meetings, this has sort of been the project that a lot of folks have been working on right now. we're on version 2.0 of this project, as Brenda alluded to. It's taken a lot of different forms. I was most definitely against the first version. The one-bedroom lofts were going to be, their price points were at about $1,000 a month for the single bedroom, which is very much out of sync with what myself and the neighbors directly across the street are paying. The density was very high. It was absolutely not in keeping with the neighborhood plan. This plan is less than a year old. Last night at the debate, or not at the debate, at what turned into a bit of a debate at the neighborhood meeting, there was a lot of discussion about what kind of precedents would this set for this proposal if less than a year after we've come out with our neighborhood plan, we're already going back on it. The new proposal is definitely better. It's a lot, you know, the price points, the one bedrooms have fallen down to $640 to $740 a month. The project, though, because it uses the Section 42 housing, which, you know, Brenda brought up and folks at the meeting brought up, would give them extra income to really give amenities that would help. It excludes full-time students from that, which right now makes up a huge portion of that block. And, you know, as it goes forward, I think it might take better shape, but there's a lot of deadlines to this project for applying. And I'm very upset to see everything I look out my front window come down. You know, it would be 10 houses on that block, right in the major, you know, corridor of the historic portion to the district.